326 pounds. I had been diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure. I went on metformin, 2,000 milligrams a day, 1,000 in the morning, 1,000 in the evening. And it came down to about a 6.8, I believe the number was. And then I got a hold of Dr. Furman, and he put me on his nutritional lifestyle. And after 5 months of that, I had lost about 58 pounds on his program, and we did the blood work again, and my diabetes A1C number was then 5.4, and that's off the medications. About halfway through working with him, I went off of my diabetes medication, the metformin. We were monitoring my blood pressure, and it was coming down to the point where we were able to come off of any losartan. After the 5-month period, it was at 120/77 with no medications.
My condition was that I was weighing 380 pounds, and I had diabetes and hypertension, and I was also showing signs of cardiovascular disease as well, as showed up on an abnormal EKG and several stress tests and things that were inconclusive because I was actually too large for the diagnostic machines at that time. I was seen by many physicians who tried to encourage me to have bariatric bypass surgery, encouraged me to lose weight, and they also encouraged me to take a lot of medication. I, at that point, decided that it was time to take the book off the shelf that had been sitting there for many years called Eat to Live and start the 6-week program. The results are that I lost 220 pounds. I immediately did not have to take the Benicar anymore for hypertension. The diabetes immediately went away. And most recently, I had an opportunity to have an echocardiogram, and there's absolutely no sign of cardiovascular disease.
Modern medicine's approach to chronic disease is we are going to mediate the impact, we're going to slow down the progression of your disease, we're going to delay the time in which your kidneys fail and you go blind and we amputate your lower extremities. That's the best modern medicine can really offer for a disease like type 2 diabetes that can be reversed, that can be cured. In fact, within a matter of weeks sometimes, after decades of diabetes, you put people on a healthy plant-based diet, and you can get people off insulin, get people off their oral hypoglycemic drugs, their blood sugar drugs. Within a matter of weeks, they can have lower blood sugars off, dozens of units less insulin. That's the power of plants.
They sent me to a neurologist, and they did a few MRIs and a spinal tap, and it came back with the diagnosis of MS. The doctor right away prescribed a drug called Avonex, and he said that I should go to a center in North Jersey to learn how to shoot myself up in the arm every day. I said, I'm not going to do that. I wound up in Gary Null's health support group. That's when a lot of things started to change. When you put the brakes on everything that's causing inflammation, and you're only ingesting things that have a healing property, meditating and keeping calm and being happy, the body responds quickly. Cut out the coffee, the caffeine, eliminate sugar, the meat, the dairy, the processed foods, eliminate anything that gives your body a reason to say, hey, we need to divert attention from healing and bring it over here because we have inflammation happening here. And then you add in the green juices, plant-based proteins, the good fats and the healthy fibers, doing all the therapies, then your body responds quickly. When you're confronted with the terminal illness and you want to get to the other side of what that terminal illness is, when you put your body in a constant healing state, physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, your body's going to experience miracles like you wouldn't believe. You're going to be so happy, your body's going to be healthy. But it takes that initial step of wanting to say, I want to be healthy and I want to heal.
before 35, I don't remember ever eating a vegetable. It just wasn't a part of my daily diet. And so I had to make these dramatic changes. But here's the thing is, the more changes I made, the better I felt. I mean, I actually could watch my cholesterol level decrease with every blood draw. I watched my energy level increase. My irritable bowel syndrome went completely away. My ability to exercise went up. I became an Ironman triathlete, which I would have never thought was even possible before. And I credit all of this to the diet. And then I started, prescribing the diet, prescribing fruits and vegetables to my patients to really change what I had told them before, which was to focus on protein. That got eliminated from my discussion. Instead, I was talking about fruits and vegetables, and I could see the change in my patients. It was a very tangible, I mean, we look at the research and we look at the data, but it's much different when you see it on a one-on-one basis, both in yourself, in your family, and especially in your patients.
Are we supposed to be eating chicken, meat, cheese, eggs, pasta, ice cream, pizza, or are we supposed to be eating foods exactly as they grow up out of the ground? And that just dawned on me as the correct reality that we are designed to eat an unprocessed whole foods diet. It affected me because it had the ring of truth to it.
What you want to focus on are the foods that provide healing. They provide the vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients and phytoenzymes you need, and those are plants. I recommend people eat high raw. The sicker you are, the more you want to stick to getting fresh greens and vegetables and fruits into your body where you have intact vitamins and minerals and enzymes going into your body.
And if people can't become a raw eater, then I do recommend juicing. And if you juice, then I do recommend that it be 2/3 vegetables and 1/3 fruit. The fruit that I usually recommend is because of an enzyme that's in it, bromelain, and that's in pineapple along with blueberries are the main fruits that should go into that. But the raw foods diet is a really great idea, and it will keep you lean and trim with very low cholesterol, perfect blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera.
Then you also want to make sure that you're eating the really good, healthy fats. Fats become a part of our cells, but you want to use the right fats. You want to focus on omega-3 fatty acids, flax seeds, walnuts. Eat them every day so that you can build healthy cells that can actually signal each other properly and help you heal and function. And the last thing people often neglect is water. You want to make sure you get at least a ½ ounce per pound of your body weight just for survival, more than that when you're looking to heal. If you do just those 6 steps, you're going to put your body into a low inflammation state that will help you heal.
So how do we quiet this inflammation? How do we put it out? How do we put water on the inflammation? We do it with what we call antioxidants. Now, green leafy vegetables are loaded with bioflavonoids, phytonutrients, and these wonderful antioxidants. And these green leafy vegetables, over hundreds of thousands of years, by a process of selection, have been able to devise their own antioxidants to protect themselves from the sun from being injured. And when we eat these, we now take these antioxidants into our system, and it makes it very powerful in terms of being able to help quell this inflammatory cauldron in these plaques. Bok choy, Swiss chard, kale, collards, collard green, beet greens, mustard green, turnip greens, Napa cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, cilantro, parsley, spinach, and arugula, and asparagus. And I'm out of breath, but you get the idea.
No matter what kind of condition you're dealing with, it's going to get better when you nourish your body and you nourish your brain. So I've had folks that have had very severe depression, and medication will only get them so far. And then when I learned about nutrition and healing by what I went through myself and what I've seen with other clients and apply it to them, what I've seen is that not only does their mood lift, but their memory improves as well. Folks who are older, who sometimes are resistant to change, if you can just get them to start eating some more raw foods or sneak in a green smoothie in with their foods, they start to actually function better, be brighter, more clear thinking, have better memory. So it really helps all across the board, whether you've got depression or anxiety, even mood swings. There's very good research that shows that bipolar responds extremely well to omega-3 fatty acids. So just something like adding walnuts and flax seeds into someone's diet can stabilize their moods, and then they don't have to be on these extremely potent mood stabilizers that cause all sorts of other medical conditions, from hypothyroid, obesity, hair loss, on and on.
Food is highly emotional for everyone. It relates to our earliest childhood memories, our earliest childhood experiences. So there is a significant component when you begin to shift diet. People do feel that you're shifting the very basis of their world. We have to address how are you going to handle the rest of the family. So I'm usually seeing one patient in the office, and usually one person in the family is very enthusiastic about making the change, and the rest of the family feels that they are really tipping the boat here. They're rocking their world. So it takes time. I often invite them to bring other family members to the next visit, and I talk with them about the benefits.
People really, they're trying to navigate a world where they want to feel accepted and they want to feel loved, and yet they feel like they're causing other people discomfort by doing what they're doing. And what I always tell people is, you know what, if you're making other people uncomfortable, you're opening up their awareness, and we need to do it. When you do the right thing for yourself, the right thing happens for everybody else in the room, even if they're uncomfortable, even if they're unhappy with it. So we have to do it. We have to do it. Because if we make other people feel comfortable by doing what they're doing or telling them what they're doing is okay, we're actually enabling them to continue eating in a way that's killing them and the people they love.
When you're eating junk food, GMO food, pesticide and herbicide, non-organic food, irradiated food, you're really not going to get anywhere near what you need. When we feed our kids an organic diet, they're going to have between 3 and 4 times less pesticides in their blood. So I think it makes a difference to not just be vegan, but to be organic in the process. There's just a bigger picture that has to be seen.
I actually teach my patients, how to shop at a grocery store, what to look at, read the food labels, choose organic fruits and vegetables.
It takes a while for some people. It's hard to get rid of addictions, maybe. Some people can do it cold turkey overnight. But however they do it, if they come down and stay where this new territory is, what they do is they discover a new taste they never thought ever existed.
Once your body gets adjusted to eating fruits and vegetables that have true flavor, the nutrition is what I think is compelling you next time to make the choice. Once you begin this path, everything that you need will come to you in terms of how you feel about those choices, how you're enjoying the flavor of those choices, and you will be hooked. It's worth the time and effort to find the imperial products that Mother Nature yields to us in season. But the true craving is when your body has been supplied with high level of nutrients, you don't forget this. And the more exposure we can find ourselves personally involved in, it's more difficult to walk in the opposite direction. You will find yourself having so much more joy eating, and you'll find yourself feeling so much healthier from those efforts.
People talk about the environment that we're in. Climate change related to our diet choices, pollution related to agricultural choices, that can change too. And that means not feeding cows and chickens and pigs for slaughter and having a different world that we live in.
Water conservation. That's a pretty important thing. A vegan lifestyle requires 300 gallons a day. A meat eating lifestyle is 4,500 gallons a day.
We have limited resources on the planet, and to apportion so many of these to meat and dairy production is a devastation. We also have limitation of water. We're deforesting our great forests. We're devastating the climate. It simply doesn't make sense.
Factory farms now spew chemicals into the ocean, creating hypoxic dead zones totaling almost 1 million square kilometers, killing coral, plants, and ocean animals. Trillions of fish are ground up into pellets to feed to livestock. Vegetarian cows are now the world's largest ocean predators.
The food to feed 100 cows can feed 2,000 people. Vegan is part of the bigger picture, shifting your worldview, reconnecting to your soul. Those are all really important parts of of the picture.
The solution is not to go and see your doctor for 15 minutes and have your doctor prescribe you a pill that just addresses the symptoms. We need to figure out the underlying root causes of the diseases and treat that.
We have to get nutrition into medicine to help people address and treat their illness, not just with drugs and procedures, but with food, diet, and exercise.
The good news, I think, is that the public is not waiting. They're not waiting for the doctor to say it's okay. They're voting with their feet. They're going to the health food store or the regular grocery store and picking up healthier foods, and they're making diet changes. And over the past 10 years or thereabouts, we've seen meat consumption in the United States drop by a good 10%. We've got a long ways to go, but people are starting to make this change already.
Changes are going to come in individual lives first, and when those individuals take positions of power, when they become hospital administrators, when they become the dietitians for the hospital, and they have this information from their personal experience, change will come from within.
I think perhaps we're a generation and a half away from this really changing society in terms of embracing more of a plant-based diet, but the medical students themselves know a lot about it or getting exposed to it. I think the word is starting to spread from more of a bottom-up, but somewhat of a top-down.
Breathe correctly, drink correctly, eat correctly, exercise correctly, and then accept the world for the way it is. Do not have unrealistic expectations.
What the research suggests is that people who really exercise fairly actively 3-4 times a week, maybe just for 20 minutes to a half hour, have 80% less depression.
Even if they can only exercise sitting down in a chair to help move that blood through your body and let your cells get all the nutrition that they actually need.
Equal to exercise is adequate sleep. We know that people don't get adequate sleep. That's less than 6 hours. Optimum is somewhere between 7 and 8 hours. If you're hitting 6 hours or less, your brain function during the day isn't as good but worse. You have 40 times more endocrine problems and 4 times as much depression.
Meditate and eat sanely and really look at your priorities and live more simply. It's the only way to get out of this madness.
It seems pretty obvious that if we as a nation move to a plant-based diet, the profound benefits for us as a population, the savings in healthcare costs, the benefits for our children and our grandchildren, the benefits for our planet in terms of decreased toxicity are beyond measure.
We should look back at how they were living hundreds of years ago and how they lived for hundreds of years with absolutely no risk in terms of health issues. I think the movement now is clearer than ever that you have a choice. What is in season, when it was picked. If we really want to have the highest pleasure in terms of how we eat and the best nutrients, we might have to redesign how we find these ingredients. We have to break out of mainstream. We have to get away from the luxury of having things so accessible because those choices are not the healthiest.
Slow and steady work, I believe, will change this planet, will change our lives, will change our children's lives, will change this world for our grandchildren.
I would like to tell everyone that you really do have control of your own health. It really has a lot to do with what you put in your body. And you may not have heard this before, or if you have, you may have discounted it, but please, you owe it to yourself, to your loved ones, to look into it and to make choices that are in the best interest of your health.
But most important of all, in my view as a doctor, is that when we follow a healthful diet, what it really means is that families can stay together. Instead of losing a spouse, losing a parent, in some cases losing a child to an illness that could have been prevented. If we put the power of healthy foods to work, families really can stay together, and that's what it's all about.